In J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World, doing magic isn't quite as simple as grabbing a wand and shouting, "Abracadabra!" Actually, please don't shout that at Hogwarts. You will only get strange looks from Peeves. Some abilities are part of your magical DNA. Either you've got it or you don't. Others you can develop with years of hard work, random explosions, a few singed eyebrows, and maybe a bit of midnight mischief. So today, we're breaking down the magical gene pool, which powers are in your blood, and which ones you can pick up with enough grit, tea, and library hours. Born with it, the magic that chooses you. Let's start with the stuff Hogwarts professors can't teach, even if Professor McGonagall has the world's scariest glare. Metamorphmagus. If you've ever wished you could change your hair color with a thought, or adjust your nose before a date, you're probably jealous of Metamorphmagi. Like Nymphadora don't call me that, Tonks. These rare witches and wizards can alter their appearance without spells, potions, or a frantic dash to Madame Malkin's robes for all occasions. Can anyone become one? Sorry, magic genes only. No amount of polyjuice potion will help. Perks? Fantastic for undercover aurors and anyone with commitment issues about haircuts. Drawbacks? Emotions wreak havoc. Tonks in a funk? Her hair goes dull. Not great for a poker face. Fun fact? You literally can't study to become a Metamorphmagus, but you can train to control it better. Parseltongue. Fancy speaking snake? It's rare, super cool, and seen as slightly creepy. Parseltongue lets you chat with serpents and even order a basilisk to do your bidding. Not recommended for school science fairs. Who has it? Born into Slytherin's lineage, or, in Harry's case, be unintentionally gifted a bit of Voldemort's soul. Awkward. How does it work? It's all about the magical wiring in your brain, not memorizing phrases. Duolingo doesn't offer this. Danger? People might think you're dark, even if your biggest secret is a fondness for garden snakes. Seer, or true prophecy. Want to see the future? If you were true seer, prophecies might burst out of you, often in a trance with no memory after. Just ask Professor Trelawney, who spends most of her career predicting doom or losing her glasses. Learn or born? Definitely born. Though divination class is open to all, results may vary. Perks? Occasional glimpses of destiny. Drawbacks? Most prophecies are cryptic, inconvenient, and sometimes dangerous for the seer. Raw magical power level. Ever wonder why Dumbledore is legendary while Crabbe can barely cast a shield? Everyone's got a magic meter. Some are born overflowing, others not so much. High magic means bigger spells, longer duels, and more spectacular fireworks. Low magic, more practice required, but hard work pays off. Just ask Neville. Warning, lack of control causes accidents. Remember Seamus Finnegan's frequent incidents? Obscurial. One of the wizarding world's darkest phenomena. If a magical kid suppresses their magic, usually from abuse or fear, it can turn inward and become an obscurus, a destructive magical force. Picture a tantrum, but with added supernatural peril. Prevention, hugs, love, and supportive magical families. You can't learn this, nor would you want to. Poor Credence Barebone. Natural talents, Leglomency and Occlumency. Some minds are easier to read, Leglomency, or shield, Occlumency, thanks to inborn mental quirks. Voldemort and Queenie Goldstein, yes, she's a Leglomensis in Fantastic Beasts, can read thoughts without much training. Meanwhile, strong-willed folks like Snape excel at mind shields. Does practice help? Yes, but some people like Harry are natural open books. Drawbacks? Nightmares, vision sharing, and difficulty lying. Veela ancestry. Expanded. Occasionally, a witch gets a little something extra in the charm department thanks to having Veela blood, looking at you, Fleur de Corlin. But Veela magic isn't just superficial beauty, it's potent, instinctual, and can be both a blessing and a curse. Magical allure? Full-blooded Veela possess an aura that makes people, especially men, infatuated or even reckless. When they dance, crowds are entranced, sometimes to the point of starting fights for their attention. Emotional powers? Veela aren't just pretty faces. When angered, their appearance transforms. Shimmering hair turns to wings, eyes flash, and they can even throw fire. This isn't just a glow-up, it's genuinely terrifying. Half Veela, like Fleur, retains some magical charisma. People become enchanted just by their presence or voice, whether the half Veela wants it or not. For Fleur, this meant both admiration and a fair share of jealousy. Women grew envious, men became awkward, and being too charming could make real connections difficult. Uncontrollable influence. For part Veela, powerful emotions can briefly amplify their charm or sway. This means even a hot conversation might accidentally entrance someone. Don't worry, no dragon breath. Unlike full-blooded Veela, half Veela don't actually grow wings or throw fireballs, but the mystique sticks around everywhere they go.
Nocturnal flights. Voldemort and Snape's broomless magic. Now, for a trick no one teaches in classes, flying without any broomstick, carpet, or magical beast, just pure sorcery. Voldemort. The Dark Lord isn't content with simple flights of fancy. Instead, he's one of the only wizards shown gliding, soaring, or swirling through the air as living smoke. This eerie ability is a product of tremendous magical power, years of dark magical experimentation, and utter disregard for wizarding norms. Voldemort leverages it for terrifying entrances, fast escapes, and as an ultimate symbol of breaking magical boundaries. How did he get it? This is never explicitly described, but it's clear Voldemort invented or perfected this dark, advanced magic through personal study and ambition. It's not in any Hogwarts curriculum. Only the most powerful, creative, and reckless could achieve it. Snape. Snape, Hogwarts' most complicated hero, is the only other wizard in the canon to showcase broomless flight, Deathly Hallows, during his dramatic exit from the castle. While he doesn't fly as ominously as Voldemort, he clearly mastered the same branch of advanced, likely dark, magic. How did he learn? Most likely, Snape acquired this ability through exposure to Voldemort's deepest studies, and perhaps as a result of years spent mastering complex spells and occlumency. It takes immense raw power, discipline, and perhaps a touch of insanity. So, can anyone do it? Not at all. This sort of flight requires a blend of raw strength, experimental spell work, and a willingness to trample magical tradition. If you're wondering why Dumbledore, for all his brilliance, never did this, well, sometimes even the best play by the rules. Self-made sorcery, the magic you earn. Not all magic is genetic. Some of the coolest powers come from years of study, stubbornness, late-night essays, and more than a few blown-up cauldrons. Here are some magical skills any witch or wizard can hope to master with enough grit and maybe a supply of burn cream. Animagus transformation. Want to prowl the halls as a cat, scuttle the gardens as a beetle, or gallop across the countryside as a stag? Becoming an Animagus is the ultimate magical makeover, but it's also an arduous, heavily regulated process. You don't choose your animal, your inner self does. So don't blame the ministry if you end up as a shrew instead of a mighty lion. The rituals. Months spent with a mandrake leaf stuffed in your mouth, tracking moon phases and risking magical mishaps. Legal warning. All Animagi must register with the ministry, though a certain trio of troublemakers, James Potter, Sirius Black, and Peter Pettigrew, prove that rules are sometimes more what you'd call guidelines. Risks. Get it wrong, and you could become a cautionary tale in Transfiguration class. Apparition. The wizarding world's answer to teleportation, apparition, is a glamorous but perilous art. It's taught to older Hogwarts students for a reason. Leaving your kneecaps behind, splinching, is a bad look. The 3 Ds: destination, determination, deliberation. Master these, or enjoy a stay in the hospital wing. Bonus level. Side-along apparition lets you take a companion, assuming you don't mind carrying the full weight of their panic. Anti-apparition wards. Sorry, you won't be popping into Gringotts, the Ministry of Magic, or Professor Umbridge's office uninvited. Occlumency and Legilimency. Learned. Even if your brain isn't a natural steel trap or lie detector, you can train in these challenging arts. Occlumency lets you fortress your thoughts. Legilimency helps you read others, if you enjoy knowing everyone's secrets, for good or evil. Training, meditation, discipline, and a stiff upper lip, essential for blocking out both Voldemort and nosy relatives. Real-world uses, from spycraft to avoiding embarrassing revelations at family reunions. Spell work and dueling. Every Hogwarts student learns the basics: levitation, unlocking doors, fixing glasses, but master duelists chain spells together, cast non-verbally, and read their opponents like a book in the restricted section. Examples: professors like McGonagall and Kingsley Shackleton turned classrooms and corridors into tactical battlegrounds. Moral: it's not about who shouts stupefy the loudest, it's whose aim, timing, and cleverness win the day. Potion mastery. Potion brewing is the magical equivalent of chemistry meets art. Precision temperatures, rare ingredients, and nerves of steel. True masters, think Snape or Slughorn, can whip up Polyjuice Potion, Felix Felicis, or antidotes at the drop of a hat. Hazards: explosions, swamps in the common room, and the always dreaded purple hair. Victory: brew something legendary and you're set for life, or at least the next Quidditch match. Charms, transfiguration, and core magic. These are the nuts and bolts of everyday wizarding life. Levitating books, summoning your slippers, turning teacups into mice, and hopefully back again. Charms, Wingardium Leviosa for levitating, Accio for summoning, and a dozen more for household convenience. Transfiguration, transforming animals, objects, or even body parts. Occasionally, not on purpose. Hard limit, no magic can create true food, real love, or reliable Wi-Fi. Gamp's Law takes no exceptions. Magical creatures and care. While Hagrid has an unusual affection for monstrous pets, most students learn to respect hippogriffs, outwit blast-ended scroots, and spot nifflers before their pocket money disappears. Bonding. A magical connection helps, but knowledge, bravery, and a thick pair of gloves go a long way. Quidditch and flying. Think flying is all about magic? Think again. Some are born with a seeker's reflexes. High Harry? Others, well, thanks to Madam Hooch's patience, the infirmary stays occupied. Moral: talent is wonderful. Practice keeps you out of the whooping willow. Magically miscellaneous. Some talents are rare, specialized, or the result of years of research. Non-verbal and wandless magic requires elite focus, reserved for powerful wizards or those who forgot their wand at home. Unusual languages. While Parseltongue gets all the press, gobbledygook, goblin speak, and murmish are just as tricky and not available on language apps. In conclusion, whether you're born with a rare power like Tonks or Floor, or you spend years sweating over cauldrons, broomsticks, and textbooks, the wizarding world proves magic comes in all shapes, sizes, and levels of chaos. The most important thing isn't the gift you have, but what you do with it, and who you choose to become. So, keep learning, keep practicing, and don't forget, sometimes a healthy dose of friendship or just a clever bit of mischief is the best magic of all.